The object lay half-buried in the basalt valley of the moon Ilith, 9, massive enough to bend the horizon around it. From orbit, it resembled a crashed god. Up close, it felt worse, like something that had chosen to fall and never rise again. The Aurelian Concord classified it as a forbidden relic. The local species, the Lethari, called it the morning vessel. For 800 cycles, no one approached it. The Lethari were not a fearful people by nature. Their civilization valued memory, continuity, and restraint. They had survived wars by refusing to escalate, had endured cosmic predators by remaining unseen. But the valley where the morning vessel rested was different. Instruments failed there. Thought felt heavier. Dreams turned sour. Every Lethari child learned the same warning before they learned to read. Do not wake the grief that still breathes. Psychic echoes bled from the vessel in a low, constant frequency, an invisible pressure that haunted the moon's crust itself. Scholars debated whether it was a signal or simply pain so immense it had nowhere to go. Then the humans arrived. Survey Group Helios 77 was officially tasked with mineral analysis and structural anomaly mapping. Their commander, Lieutenant Aaron Cole, read the Lethari warnings carefully. He acknowledged them politely. He even logged them. Then he authorized a landing. Human sensors had detected an alloy unknown to any galactic registry. A material that didn't decay, didn't fracture, didn't obey entropy the way it should. Cole stood at the valley's edge, visor reflecting the colossal shape before him. The morning vessel's surface was neither ship nor architecture. It flowed like frozen muscle, scarred by a single deliberate breach along its flank. "This isn't superstition," his science officer muttered. "This is incarceration." They entered. Inside, the air existed, cold, stale, metallic. Corridors curved impossibly, bending perspective. No debris. No signs of struggle. Just silence that felt maintained. At the vessel's heart, they found her. She was fused to a throne-like structure, her form colossal, yet restrained. Scaled limbs of obsidian blue metal and living flesh merged seamlessly with the ship's core. Her head bowed beneath a crown of crystallized spines. And buried deep in her chest were 3 swords. Not ceremonial. Not elegant. Black, brutal implements driven into the convergence of heart, mind, and power. They formed a triangle of perfect restraint. Her energy readings flickered, alive but not living. Not dead. Not allowed to be either. Aaron Cole felt something tighten in his chest that had nothing to do with protocol. "This," he said quietly, "isn't containment. It's punishment." The swords radiated a suppression field unlike anything the team had encountered. It wasn't merely technological. It dampened thought, motion, and time itself in a localized sphere. The being on the throne was trapped in a perpetual moment of agony, stretched across centuries. The Lethari warnings suddenly made sense. They weren't afraid of her. They were afraid of what had been done to her. Lieutenant Cole's second-in-command, Dr. Mirela Voss, ran trembling diagnostics. "Each blade serves a function," she whispered. "One stabilizes biological processes. One suppresses neural activity. The third blocks dimensional energy output." 3 locks, Cole said. 1 prison. The team argued. Protocol screamed retreat. Galactic law forbade interference with ancient artifacts, especially those tied to extinct conflicts. Removing a blade could destabilize the moon, the system, possibly entire sectors. Cole listened. Then he looked at her. Even in stasis, the pain was evident. Microfractures of light bled from where foreign metal pierced her chest. The psychic pressure wasn't aggression, it was endurance. "She's not a weapon waiting to fire," Cole said. "She's a victim waiting to stop hurting." No one volunteered to help. So Cole ordered them back. If something went wrong, history would blame him alone. As he approached, his suit alarms flared uselessly. The nearer he got, the heavier the air became. He reached for the leftmost sword, the one embedded near where a heart should be. The moment his glove touched the hilt, the universe broke open inside his mind. He saw a world of luminous seas and floating cities. A species that had woven consciousness into networks of shared empathy. He saw her, a strategist, a guardian, a living nexus for her people. Then came the invaders. The Karek's Dominion. They couldn't defeat her species outright. So they did something worse. They captured her, forged the blades, called null anchors, and bound her to her own vessel. Her agony became a broadcast. A warning. A psychic scar meant to terrify any who came near. The vision ended. Cole collapsed to one knee, breath ragged. The sword burned with cold that felt like memory. You don't deserve this, he growled, to no one and everyone. He braced himself and pulled. The resistance wasn't physical. It was cosmic. Reality itself protested. The ship groaned. The moon trembled. Then release. The blade slid free. It hit the floor without sound. Behind him, alarms screamed. In front of him, she moved. Light surged from the wound where the sword had been, not blood but something warmer, golden, radiant, alive. The vessel shuddered as dormant systems flickered on for the first time in centuries. Her fingers twitched. Stone-like joints cracked as motion returned to limbs that had forgotten how to obey. Slowly, painfully, she raised her head. Her eyes opened. They were vast pools of molten amber fractured by streaks of deep cerulean, holding sorrow so old it made Aaron Cole feel impossibly small. Her gaze fixed on him, not with rage, but confusion. A presence filled his mind. Not words. Meaning. You are not Carex. No, Cole said aloud, though his thoughts echoed clearly. We're human. Her awareness expanded outward, brushing his suit systems, his memories, his species data networks. She recoiled slightly, not in fear, but surprise. You broke a lock. Yes. Why? Cole swallowed. No protocol. No justification that would satisfy galactic councils. Only the truth. Because it was wrong. The concept lingered between them. Wrong. Not inefficient. Not dangerous. Not illogical. Morally wrong. The ship groaned again, this time not in protest, but response. Consoles lit faintly. The psychic scream that had poisoned the region for centuries shifted tone, splintering into something unfamiliar. Relief. Her attention drifted to the two remaining swords. Two still bind me. One to silence thought. One to cage what remains of my power. We didn't know what would happen, Cole admitted. But we couldn't leave you like that. She studied him. A species so young. So fragile. And yet, reckless enough to defy ancient terror without expectation of reward. The Carex are gone, she transmitted, scanning known history. Their empire is dust. Then you're free to choose what comes next, Cole said. Her pain lessened, no longer absolute. The wound where the blade had been no longer felt like an open scream. It felt like the first breath after drowning. You have returned something stolen from me, she said. Not my freedom. Not yet. But my agency. The amber light pulsed stronger. Healing. Not awakening wrath. Hope. Rescue beacons from the Helios team flared as the morning vessel began stabilizing its internal structure. Energy fields rebalanced. Gravity normalized. The moon itself seemed to breathe easier. Cole stood alone before her now, the weight of what he'd done finally catching up. You don't owe us anything, he said quietly. Her response carried no sarcasm. Incorrect. She shifted again, testing motion. The remaining blades still bound her, but the balance had changed. The prison was no longer perfect. For centuries, others observed. Feared. Rationalized. You acted. The Ledhari would call it madness. Humans called it conscience. What are you called? She asked. Aaron Cole. She considered the name carefully, imprinting it into memory older than stars. I was once known as Sarah Thiel, voice of the continuum. I am no longer what I was. But because of you, I am no longer only what they made me. Outside the vessel, the psychic scar across space faded to a whisper. The galaxy noticed. In the days that followed, records spread. A human had violated an ancient interdiction. Broken a metaphysical lock designed to last forever. Not to claim power. Not to control a god. Just to end suffering. Debate erupted across civilizations. Fear. Admiration. Unease. One truth became impossible to ignore. Humans were not dangerous because they were strong. They were dangerous because when faced with cruelty normalized by time, they did not ask if it was safe to stop it. They asked if it was right. And then they acted. Deep within the morning vessel, Sarah Thiel closed her eyes once more. Not in pain, but in rest. For the first time in centuries, the silence was peaceful. Two swords remained. But now she was no longer alone. And somewhere in the stars, humanity earned a new reputation. The species that sees a lock and wonders who it's hurting.